Little fun fact, Angie and I actually graduated together from the same high school. We went to school with each other for 13 years. We're in several of the same classes, but not in the same social circles.
Don't tell him this, but I didn't really like him in high school, you know.
Probably didn't speak 3 words to each other growing up.
2 different people in our community had said, hey, she would be a great person to date. And then he realized, hey, I think I went to high school with her. So this was out of nowhere. This was a shock. He leaves a voicemail on a Friday afternoon that says, hey, this is Jimmy Cash. Can you give me a call back, please? And I was like, Jimmy Cash? School Jimmy Cash? High school?
The day I seen her, I just fell in love. She was gorgeous. She was beautiful. And so we go out on dates and we start dating. And at 31, and after being through several relationships that wasn't the best, I knew what I didn't want in life, and I didn't want to be like that anymore. And we made it work. We got married, and we had this huge, big blended family. And for 12 years, I would say probably 12 years, we just had an incredible journey together.
Our career started, booming. I started working at the healthcare system in my area, and I really started growing as a person, as a nurse, developing my skills, and just serving our veterans, serve our community. He was really getting up the ladder, climbing up the ladder.
We were both becoming a little bit selfish in our ambitions, in our goals, in our desires, in our dreams. They included one another, but not necessarily in the way that the other person desired. And we started separating a little by little, year by year. And there was a couple of events that changed our lives during that time, and it just led to a breakdown in communication.
I got tired of watching what he watched on TV, and he got tired of watching what I watch on TV. So we went to 2 different rooms. And we're thinking in our minds that this is okay. We're at this 10, 12-year mark now. So we can do this, and that's okay.
I stopped listening to her. I stopped listening to her needs. I became more and more selfish. And eventually, we went from being best friends, and I love her. I've always loved her, but we stopped being friends at all, and we just became roommates. Fast forward about 3 or 4 years of not communicating in a healthy manner, the wheels began to come off of our marriage.
We got into this big, huge argument, and Jimmy just said, I'm gone. And he left. Well, he said that before, but did he ever? He never really left. He started packing his stuff. And I went, oh my goodness, he's really leaving. And so I'm like, okay, well, just gonna let the 24 hours, 48 hours pass. I'm sure we're gonna work this out. This is what I'm telling me in my mind. We're gonna work this out. So 24 hours, 72 hours. He calls and goes, I want a divorce. And I'm like, wow, okay. It was a shock factor. And I said, okay, we'll talk about it. And then the next day, he called, I want a divorce.
I had an affair, and we separated. I wanted to do something else, start over somehow, some way. I just wanted to stop hurting the way I had been hurting. The phone rang, and it was my pastor, my friend. And he told me what I already knew. He said, Jimmy, you do realize that there's going to be some steps you're going to have to take to make this right. And It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be easy. But it's just going to be something you're going to have to do.
So about 5.5 weeks, our pastor called and said, hey, Jimmy wants to reconcile. And I'm like, was very guarded because I was losing hope. I was losing faith. I'm only human, right? So I accepted to meet with Jimmy. He came after I got off from work. He came home. So he was growing a beard, and he was looking not like the man I love and the man that I was used to. So when he came after that 5.5 weeks, he came to talk to me. He was shaved. He was clean shaven. It was like, aw, and I think I actually smiled. And he sat down, and we sat down and started talking. And he said, you know, I've been having an affair. And I said, I know. You know, he looked at me strangely, and I said, we've been married for 16 years. I know.
She looked at me. She had tears in her eyes. And she said, you know something? God told me. He told me you were coming back. He told me you were coming home, but he did not tell me what kind of shape you would be in when you got here.
So that's when the pastor friend referred us to Live the Life. And we met with the counselor, and he started doing a little bit of crisis intervention. What spoke to me or resonated with me was when you do the skills, it's the congruent position, the eye to eye, the knee to knee, the holding of hands, because you're not only emotionally open up, but it helps you to physically open up whenever you do these skills. So if I felt heard, I felt validated
Yes.
when we did the skills because of the congruent position. And it's the total foundation to every skill that you learn. Every skill, no matter if it's just a general check-in or if it's a conflict resolution. Every single skill, you do the position, and you're going to feel that intimacy, that emotional intimacy that we all crave. No one wants to talk about infidelity.
So,
no one talks
yeah,
about
there's not a lot of people out there that's willing to raise their hand and talk about infidelity and overcoming the shame. So what I learned was that she needed me to be strong. And you talked about forgiveness, and you clearly forgave me. I do think that it was somewhat difficult for me to learn to forgive myself. I had to accept and embrace the grace of God and just bathe myself in His grace and just in His mercy and accept His forgiveness and trust in Him that this is going to get better. This is a season. It's not forever. We won't always be like this. We're going to grow. We're going to heal. We're going to do it together, and we're going to do it with God. I cannot put a value on what God has done through Live the Life in our marriage. I can't put into words the appreciation and the thankfulness that I have, that clearly if it was not for you and your faith and your determination to hang on to the altar of God and to continue to pray, because the Bible says the fervent, effectual prayers of the righteous avail much. And I'm just sitting there going, you know what? Thank God for a praying life. Thank God for putting Angie in my life. And I thank you. I thank you for your love and your prayers. I thank you for never giving up on God and never giving up on me. And I love you.